Going on in the witch hunt and all of the corruption in the FBI, the Department of Justice, the intelligence community. Last night, Louis Gomert, Congressman Gomert, was with us here, and he put the spotlight on something that a lot of people didn't recall or even know about James Comey's political past. Here he is.
I did not know until last week I saw an article from 2003 where Comey was bragging that, yeah, I was a communist until I became whatever I am now. I'd never heard that. Comey the communist. How about, who knew that? It's amazing.
Well, we know that now. That 2003 article the congressman referred to from New York Magazine, in which Comey says this, quote, I voted for Reagan. I'd moved from communist to whatever I am now. I'm not even sure how to characterize myself politically. Well, he's not the only member of the deep state to have an ideological turn leftward of Karl Marx. Former CIA Director John Brennan also revealing he was once a communist sympathizer during the Cold War, for crying out loud. Are you kidding me? Joining us tonight, James Kallstrom, former assistant director of the FBI. He served almost 3 decades in the FBI and a captain in the United States Marine Corps. Great to see you, sir.
I never thought when I came back from Vietnam that there'd be a communist that was the head of the CIA.
Can you? This boggles my mind. I grew up on the FBI television show in which they were pursuing communists, and there's one at the head of the CIA and one
I wonder
at the
if
head of the FBI.
Comey and Brennan were in the same, the same den, like the Cub Scout den.
The communists.
They were in the same communist den somewhere up in the Bronx or someplace.
Well, I don't want to say that I'm convinced of it, but it could be possible that they would share such a cell going forward. I would hope that they're held accountable for what they have done to this country.
Lou, as we've talked for months and months and over a year, it's crystal clear now that this cabal was far-reaching in this conspiracy. The FBI was involved, so was the intelligence community, the director of natural intelligence.
Yeah. DNI. Dan Coates.
And many of the Democratic leadership of the Congress were part of this storytelling that went on ever since, it was obvious that Trump was going to be the nominee. Yeah. And this thing has been going on and still going on to this day. And the Deputy Attorney General, of course, the Attorney General is out on some sort of medical leave of some sort.
I don't know what he's doing.
But this Deputy Attorney General is like at the center of this whole thing because, Rod
Rosenstein has been at the point of the spear, the part of the fulcrum, the nexus of everything that is toxic and corrupt about the Justice Department and the FBI. Now we're finding out in this letter, Jim, from 4 leading Democrats that they've already made deals in which they withhold intelligence and information from the President of the United States. It's stunning.
The president should call him into his office tomorrow, give them a deadline of like 24 hours to present all this. And if they don't, fire him. That's what needs to happen. This whole gaggle of people that are anti-Constitution, anti the rights of people, trampling on the rights of people. This is a huge event. And we haven't even talked about the unmaskings yet.
Right.
We're going to have hundreds and hundreds of unmaskings of American citizens.
Unmasking referring to Samantha Power, for crying out loud, Susan Rice and others who have called unmasking those that they wanted to surveil, as it's referred to. And we're talking, as Jim says, hundreds of American citizens. And we haven't even heard a word about that.
We haven't heard a word about that. And here we go with this, we know now the FISA, they're really illegal. They're perjury. They're not truthful to the FISA court.
And they withheld critical information.
And when you present an affidavit, and I know I've seen many of them, you got 40, 50, 30 pages of facts.
Right.
They had no facts. It's all a made-up story. The circles the globe and involves a lot of strange people all over the place. It's a crazy thing. So they present this fraudulent document. Then they renew it every 90 days 4 times.
Right.
And the law says you have to bring new facts. You have to make the case that you have to continue this because this is a violation of someone's rights
and
under the Constitution.
Documents, as you point out, this is paid for by Hillary Clinton's campaign, by the Democratic National Committee. It was a fraudulent, false document. Bob Woodward even refers to it in his new book.
We're going to find out that all these renewals were fraudulent.
Yeah.
Because what could they have possibly found out about the person they were surveilling? You know, I mean, he's not in jail. He hasn't been charged with anything. It's all BS. The whole thing is BS.
Well, and there's plenty of that in Washington, D.C., and the level is rising. The Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing, we have an orchestrated effort by the Democrats to call for an FBI investigation of Judge Kavanaugh, which would be unprecedented in any form, but particularly at the last minute. This is an absurdity. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, I'm familiar with the investigations of people that are being, going into the Congress and going elsewhere. You know, these investigations, some of them take over a year. You know, everybody this person ever knew is pretty much interviewed, going back to kindergarten. That's happened 6 times with Judge Kavanaugh. So this BS of asking for another investigation, what are they going to investigate? Yeah. As far as I know, she's not even sure of the date or the place.
And Senator Feinstein, who created all of this, orchestrated it, now won't even support or endorse her veracity as the accuser, and doesn't explain why she didn't ask for investigations that she could have led 3 months ago in July.
Without question.
It's
the whole thing is a stalling tactic, and I hope the Republicans on the committee and the chairman, I hope they, grow a big backbone. Grassley has a pretty good one, and stand on what's right and what the American